Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to get started here. So, welcome to this celebration of the 125th anniversary of our founding. I'm Richard Greenawalt, Chairman of the Board of Trustees here at Drexel. It's a truly great day for Drexel University, and it's my honor and pleasure to call this gathering to order on behalf of our fellow trustees, President Fry, honored guests, students, faculty, and professional staff. The great Italian poet Dante tells us to remember this very moment because, as he says, it is the beginning of always. These are wise words for us to consider today, even though much of our focus will be to honor Drexel's proud past. We will do that in fine fashion, I assure you. We'll hear from our president and from Tony Noce of the Alumni Association, from Provost Blake, and from representatives of our student government associations. And as a special treat, history professor Scott Knowles will present a video that captures in just a few moments the grand sweep of Drexel's first 125 years. A historic occasion like this should remind us that for some of life's greatest moments, we only get to go around once. We have to get it right, and then we move ahead. That's the Drexel way, in fact. The people who have made this university what it is today have been fueled by scholarship, innovation, a deep sense of community, and impatient ambition. I'm proud to be associated with them, and I hope we all come away from today's celebration sharing in that pride. Now, please join me and stand as the Task Force Dragon presents the colors. And today, in addition to our 125th anniversary, let us all take a moment to remember the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor as members of the Chamber Singers perform the national anthem. Thank you.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star
Please be seated. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It's a delight to see all of you here. This is such a joyous occasion for Drexel and for the city of Philadelphia. This great university and this great city have been partners for 125 years, one nourishing the other. Philadelphia has an extraordinary history and an exciting future. Drexel is proud to be part of both. As we celebrate this 125th anniversary, though, it would be natural that we pause for a moment to savor the past. If someone asked me the hypothetical question of what figure from history I'd most like to meet, from where I stand today, my answer, without hesitation, would be Anthony J. Drexel, the famous international banker, philanthropist, and lifelong Philadelphian who began building this institution in 1889 and saw through its completion in December of 1891. He was a man whose life spanned the defining moments of the 19th century, and so did his ideas and his values. Those ideas and values were part of his historic contribution to Drexel, and they are just as fresh and relevant and powerful today as they were 125 years ago. With some important additions, they are now guiding Drexel into the future. So yes, I'd welcome the chance to meet A.J. Drexel, known to his friends as Tony. But I would be greedy about it. Rather than just meeting him, I would want to be his companion on the 3-mile walks he took each weekday morning to his office at Drexel & Company near 3rd and Chestnut Streets in Old City. He started out from the Italianate-style villa at 39th and Walnut Streets in West Philadelphia, where he and his wife, Ellen, raised their 9 children. This was the route he took for many years, accompanied most of the way by his closest friend, the newspaper publisher George W. Childs. So imagine the conversations that must have taken place between these two thoughtful and civic-minded Philadelphians as their morning walks filled the years from the Civil War to the centennial of our country and the arrival of factories and electricity. As the years went by, it's easy to imagine them exchanging insights on many topics, from women's suffrage to the waves of immigration altering Philadelphia to the rise of organized labor. But the most vivid and fundamental change underway in Philadelphia was rapid industrialization, driven by expanding technology, which then, as now, created new jobs as it eliminated others. Mr. Drexel was a prescient thinker. He could see the direction technology was taking his city. But what he didn't see was an institution in Philadelphia preparing to teach workers the skills they needed to get ahead in this new industrial society. His answer, of course, was to create the Drexel Institute for Art, Science, and Industry, which was to become Drexel University. In today's dollars, A.J. Drexel's gifts to build, equip, and launch the Institute would amount to an astounding $79 million. And some of those funds went into the extensive European art collection he assembled for the Institute, because he believed that having a practical education shouldn't mean sacrificing the aesthetics of art and music. First among his non-financial gifts were those ideas and values that defined and still shape Drexel today. Our founder was determined that the new institute would offer access and diversity and a continuum between theory and practice. His commitment to access was reflected in the choice of this site at 32nd and Chestnut Streets. He wanted to build his new institute not in a pastoral setting, but into the urban fabric of an industrializing Philadelphia. And this location in 1891 more than met that requirement. It was bordered by belching factories and slaughterhouses, but it was also adjacent to the city's new railroad terminal, and that supported AJ's vision of making Drexel as accessible as possible to working people. As to diversity, AJ Drexel was an early supporter of women's suffrage, and from day one, Drexel was an institution for both women and men. That's something you would expect today, but it was a very bold step in 1891, when the vote for women was years away, and even our neighbors at the University of Pennsylvania would not admit women undergraduates for another 2 decades. Like most universities today, we're building on our record of diversity with women and underrepresented minorities, and I'm grateful that AJ Drexel gave us a good head start. But it was AJ Drexel's insistence on the continuum between theory and practice that most clearly shaped who we are today. It left the Institute open to the idea of cooperative education, which, for many, is synonymous with the Drexel experience. In the early days, it meant preparing people to succeed in the trades. Today, it means preparing students for success in the professions and in the sciences and in the arts. This active heritage of marrying theory to practice makes us who we are today. It means that, unlike many other excellent universities, we're not having midlife angst about our mission. Thanks to the commitment of our faculty, trustees, and donors, we are able to combine academic excellence with career discernment and readiness, and that too shows the influence of AJ Drexel. It's tempting to slip back into the hypothetical and ask ourselves, would AJ Drexel be happy with the present state of his university? I believe so. I think he would be proud that his institute blossomed into a comprehensive research university with 15 schools and more than 24,000 students. I think he would fully resonate with our emphasis on civic engagement, especially with our neighbors and community partners in Mantua, West Powelton, and Powelton Village. But from what we know about AJ Drexel's career, I think he would be most excited about Drexel's future as an anchor institution in an urban innovation district that is of its own creation, where we will not only prepare students to fill existing jobs, but envision new kinds of jobs as well. And with the help of our many partners, we're committed to making our innovation district, Schuylkill Yards, a source of economic development and prosperity and social progress for all Philadelphians, regardless of what zip code they live in. But that's as far in the future as I want to go today. I'd like to take just a quick look back on the occasion that we so happily celebrate today, the dedication of the Drexel Institute in December of 1891. It was a very big event, hosted right here in this room, where the audience included people like Thomas Edison and J.P. Morgan. But conspicuously absent was Anthony J. Drexel. He was still heartbroken at the death of his wife only the month before. That was the official reason for his absence. But A.J. Drexel was also a man who avoided the limelight, a remarkably modest and self-effacing man, especially given his prodigious accomplishments. And those who knew him guessed that perhaps he also stayed away because he could not bear the prospect of hearing speaker after speaker shower him with accolades. He also was not a fan of giving speeches himself. On one occasion, when pressed to make remarks, he said, "I make no pretensions to oratory. I much prefer to be quiet. All that I wish to say is that whenever anything is wanted, call on me. Whenever anything is wanted, call on me." And so, if I had taken one of those imaginary walks with our founder this morning, I certainly would not have tried to convince him to give a speech today. But I would have reassured him that his foresight and his generosity is still empowering generations of scholars and innovators and civic leaders who graduate from his great university, and that those graduates, like Drexel's founder, go on to make a real and profound difference in the world. Once again, thank you all for celebrating with us today. And now, in just a moment, I want to recognize a number of those who are with us here today. But before I do that, let me mention that our friend and trustee, Chuck Pannoni, is with us today, joined by his wonderful wife, Annette. I am so thankful to have Chuck, not just as a friend, but a wise mentor. Most of you know of Chuck's great contributions to Drexel University, the field of engineering, and the Philadelphia region. At two critical times in this university's recent history, Chuck stepped in to serve as interim president. So I am never surprised when Chuck receives an honor, as he has received so many. But it is a distinct pleasure for me to tell you that Chuck is about to be awarded the Philadelphia business community's highest honor. His selection as the recipient of the 2016 William Penn Award is a wonderful honor for him and the Drexel community, and we all, Chuck, share in your excitement. It's not official until tomorrow. It's not official tomorrow, but we can't keep it a secret. Eliana Papadakis, thank you for being with us today. Can I ask you, Annette and Kara, to stand and be recognized for your collective service during this transformative time in our university's history, and for standing with Chuck and with Taki and with me in good times and in hard times. Please. Welcome also to our Drexel University trustees, current and emeritus, and trustees from the Academy of Natural Sciences. Also with us are Eric Darr, president of Harrisburg University, Richard Green, president of Lincoln University, and Ryan Sagers, the president of DeVry University Mid-Atlantic Group. And besides our speakers on stage, we are joined by Nadia Ralston, director of the governor's Southeast Regional Office, and I should also note that Governor Wolf has sent his greetings to all of us today. Also here with us today is State Representative Donna Bullock and State Representative Jim Roebuck. Let's give them a hand. And now it is a real honor to present our next speaker, our great mayor, Jim Kenney.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everyone. It's certainly a pleasure to be here celebrating 125 years of Drexel University. Drexel is a first-class university featuring a diverse staff and student body that is constantly bringing world-class talent here to Philadelphia. They are also committed to improving this city by integrating themselves in the surrounding neighborhood. Their involvement with the West Philadelphia Promise Zone will greatly improve quality of life and access to quality education in the area. And I'm proud to be mayor of a city where high-quality institutions like Drexel successfully educate their students while making positive impact in their surrounding communities. They always give me my script, but I always enjoy getting it over with and going off script. On January 4th of 2017, I will be mayor for a year. It seems longer than that. And we've had some successes, along with our help from City Council, people like Janie Blackwell and Councilman Dom, who's sitting in our audience. And we have a really tough road to hoe because we are the largest city in the country with the highest level of poverty of any city in the nation. And this morning at 56th at Haverford, I spent about an hour with 3- and 4-year-olds at a quality pre-K. They're beautiful children. They are stunningly beautiful children who have great promise and great potential if we give them the tools to meet that potential. We've worked with our communities and bringing community schools, and we have a massive rebuilding project in our parks, recreation centers, and libraries, and we're moving those projects forward. But I will tell you that as hard as this job is, and it's harder than I actually thought it would be, it's hard. Some days are great, some days are not so great. But I always have a partner at the end of a phone call, your President, John Fry. And when you think of university presidents, you have a myriad of thoughts, and what do you think a university president should be? He is perfect for our city, and this university is perfect for our city because they are engaged, he's engaged, you are engaged, you care about what goes on in our neighborhoods. It's not just about what goes on within the walls of the university. And there have been times in the course of this year where he has picked up the phone and called me and said, are you all right? Everything okay? You need anything? And I will call him and bounce some stuff off him when I have an idea that may be outlandish or maybe needs a little more form than I've given it. And he's been a great partner, and this university's been a great partner, and you are a credit to the city, you really are. I mean, the students that you turn out, the product you turn out, your involvement with our community, your commitment, your generosity is unmatched. It really is unmatched. And I just want to thank you for your support for us as a city. No one person can do all of this alone. And I don't care how talented you are, and I'm a smart person, but I'm not the smartest person in this room. And when you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're not that smart. So having smart people around you, having assets like this institution and the leadership of this institution is just really gives me confidence that we can get where we need to be as a city. When every one of our children meet their potential, all of our neighborhoods will be safe. All of our neighborhoods will be decent places to live. We won't be spending money on things like prisons and drug rehab and DHS services. We'll be putting money into education. And we're putting money into our infrastructure. So I want to thank you for your partnership, and thank you, President Fry, for your partnership. And Chuck, you've been just a stalwart all the time. And you are a regular person. You've never lost sight of your roots and where you've come from and how you treat people. So I thank you for that. And I also want to just congratulate you on this 125th anniversary, and please continue to help us get where we need to be. God bless you all. Thank you.
Hear, hear, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. I want to recognize one of our councilmen, Alan Dom. Alan is a member of our Real Estate Advisory Committee, a great friend of Drexel University. Alan, thank you. So those of you who know West Philadelphia and know its history have seen so much positive change over the decades. And I must say that if there is a common denominator to all of the change that has happened and all the things, hopefully, that we will continue to do in the future, it's been our great Councilwoman, Janie Blackwell. Janie.
Good afternoon. As always, I always say first, I thank God for the privilege and the opportunity to be with all of you. And I always like to say that West is best, and I know all you college presidents think your area is, but really, And we are very, very happy to be here. To my colleagues, certainly Alan Dime, to my friend, State Representative Jim Roebuck, and Ileana, it's been a while. I hear you stay where it's warm a little bit. So we are so happy to see all of you. Bob Wonderling back there, all of our special guests to this wonderful Board of Trustees. All of the things that you've heard are wonderful, but as has been said, and that none of these wonderful things, we couldn't be doing all these wonderful things in our city, across the country and the world, were it not for the leadership of John Fry. Let us salute him. When our mayor talked about him and when our mayor talked about leadership, we've been so overjoyed. You know, I've been in city council, really. I started with Lucian Blackwell January 3rd, 1976. I've been around a very, very long time, but I've not felt closer to a person who is, as he has said, down to earth, wants to relate and talk to everyone, wants to do the right thing, and loves our city personally as much as we have with Jim Kenney. Thank you, Jim. And I would say that if Anthony Drexel were around today, and maybe he is looking at us, he would realize that we know this is a unique time in history. We are at the point of change again. Many of you see it. If you don't, you will realize how much life is changing again. So the next 60 to even 70 years will be marked by what happens this year and in the next 2 years. So we're looking forward to working with everyone here to make this world a better place, to do so many creative things for those who live, work, visit, recreate, and go to school here. And I'm just grateful that I have been able and am a part of that change. Thank you all. God bless you.
The backbone of our university is its more than 125,000 alumni who over these many years have provided us with encouragement and support and love to make the institution what it is today. The president of the Drexel University Alumni Association is Tony Noce, also a member of the Board of Trustees, and Tony's going to share a few thoughts with you now.
Thank you, John. What a memorable occasion today. It's my pleasure to greet you on behalf of over 150,000 Drexel alumni worldwide. I'm proud to say that Drexel alumni hold this university very close to our hearts, and that we are honored to help Drexel meet its institutional advancement needs. With the record-breaking fundraising totals achieved over the past 3 years, it's clear to me that we're not alone. We are joined in this endeavor by countless individuals who share our vision and who have adopted Drexel as the beneficiary of their support. Experiential learning has been the cornerstone of Drexel education for almost 100 years, and many of our alumni in their respective fields typically become co-op employers to complete the cycle. Our alumni are enthusiastic supporters of the entrepreneurial spirit efforts of our students, faculty, and researchers that make up so much of the culture of Drexel. And as the university moves on from this 125-year milestone, we share President Fry's compelling vision for Drexel because it taps into our own passions. As college graduates, we look back on our college years as some of the best years of our lives, with varying degrees of nostalgia, I'm sure, maybe depending on how long ago we graduated. But as Drexel graduates, we've also seen it demonstrated over and over that pivotal difference that Drexel education has meant in our professional and personal lives. For me, Drexel pointed towards a career in engineering, law, and eventually commercial real estate development. As we look through this gathering, though, I also recall that first day when I took the train into West Philadelphia to begin my college education. It was on that journey that I met classmates who would become my fraternity brothers and lifelong friends. I met my wife here, and we raised a family, including 3 Drexel alumni and 1 current student. Those are the kinds of connections Drexel alumni say make all the difference, regardless of the many years that separate us from our student days. And for that, we owe this university so very much. Once again, congratulations on the 125th. May the years ahead bring Dragon alumni even greater pride. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the co-editor of the book entitled Building Drexel, Celebrating 125 Years. The Alumni Association was proud to be able to make this comprehensive new history of the university possible. So please join me in welcoming Drexel history professor Scott Knowles.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking Tony Noce and the Drexel Alumni Association for your vision and your generosity in supporting the research and the publication of the book that we prepared to mark this anniversary. The title of it is Building Drexel, a University in Its City, 1891 to 2016. Available now on Amazon, I believe. I would like also to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank our team of authors. This book is a collaborative effort of 35 writers, including history faculty members, yes, but also faculty from many of Drexel's colleges and schools, and also deans, professional staff. And I'm most proud of the fact that 4 Drexel students are also published authors in this volume: Daniel Johnson, Jason Ludwig, Bucky Stanton, and Virginia Thierman. In true Drexel fashion, these students learned by doing. I want also to highlight the support of the Temple University Press staff. This team of editors and graphic artists helped us to produce a document rich in illustrations, beautifully put together, and quite heavy, actually. In other words, they didn't complain when we went well past our approved word count. The celebration of an anniversary, and in this case, the creation of a historical record, is an occasion to look backward. It is, though, also a moment to reflect on the role that each of us plays in shaping the Drexel that is to come. Among world institutions, universities have a unique capacity to evolve and to last across long stretches of time. I predict that someday people will look back at this 125th anniversary and see it as a moment when the traditions of Drexel were actually still being formed, when its greatest achievements were still in the making. I would encourage all of us to reflect on the decisions that got Drexel to this moment, but also to tend to the history of our era at Drexel. Please get involved in our oral history program. Visit the university archives. Collect and pass along the history of our unique time. Visit the history department. As members of this community, this is a role we can all play today. Please be in touch with me if you would like to stay involved in the creation of Drexel's history. And now I'd like to direct your attention to a special anniversary film that has been co-produced by the Drexel Office of University Communications and the Communication and Marketing team within the Division of Enrollment Management and Student Success. It is a whirlwind tour of Drexel's remarkable history and its transformations. Thank you and enjoy. A.J. Drexel was a banker at a time of enormous financial growth for Philadelphia and for the nation. He was looking for things to spend that money on that he thought could be for the betterment of his community. When Drexel was founded in 1891, Anthony Drexel decides he doesn't want to put his institute out in leafy suburbs of Philadelphia, but he wants to put it right in the center of the industrial action. It was a very unique institution for its time, in part because it was not originally founded as a degree-granting educational institution, but it was an institute of art, science, and industry. The institute grew out of Anthony Joseph Drexel's idea that education needed to be available to a much wider population of people than it had been available to up to that point. He had from the beginning the idea that it would be an open admissions kind of atmosphere where women and men, black and white, people of all religious backgrounds would be welcome. He was imagining education as a tool of social uplift. A.J. Drexel imagined that the world would change, and so the Drexel Institute should change with it. In its 125-year history, Drexel's invention and reinvention has been remarkable. It's always been an institution that's reinvented itself to meet society's needs. Founded first as an institute open to everyone without any particular degree-granting focus, it transformed itself by the 1920s into one of the most important engineering education centers in the United States. At the end of World War I, Drexel established itself as a leader in a new form of education, cooperative education. Cooperative learning was first introduced at Drexel in 1919, and it was a direct result of the Institute providing education and government service during World War I. It was an understanding that engineering students needed to have some time in the classroom, but also on the job site. And so it's developing a relationship between learning in the classroom and applied learning, and that's a really important relationship. As we move into the 50s and 60s, the new emphasis on research and graduate training comes directly out of the Cold War period. And so as scientific research and electrical engineering became important, Drexel was right there, once again, to turn out graduates who were ready to help shape that industry. But the idea that it could be more than just that was very much alive in the 50s and 60s. In 1970, Drexel Institute becomes Drexel University. And so that meant putting new emphasis on building labs and recruiting faculty who could actually contribute original research. The other thing that a university does is training in areas that go beyond science and technology. And that really helped us see a sort of turning point from 1970 forward, where the modern Drexel University as we know it today begins to take shape. One of the defining aspects of Drexel's history has been its capacity to reinvent itself over time. And what causes these reinventions? The larger economic needs of the Philadelphia region has been a really important way to understand how Drexel has changed over time. In this way, we can say that the university is trying to stay one step ahead of the marketplace, one step ahead of technological change. In 1984, it was the first university to require personal computers for every student. This led to a unique relationship with Apple Computer, and Apple actually brought the Macintosh to campus. Drexel students were among the only college students in America to have these personal computers in the dorm rooms. Starting in the mid-1990s, at a time when the internet was still something that was fascinating to most people, but not really something that was practical, Drexel actually started to move its curriculum online. Drexel has continued to be an innovator and a leader in that part of the education market. One of the most important aspects of Drexel becoming a full-fledged university was the creation of the Drexel University College of Medicine. Also, the creation of the College of Nursing and Health Professions and the Dornsife School of Public Health, which were actually created out of two heritage medical universities, the Hahnemann University and the Medical College of Pennsylvania, both of which have histories going back into the 19th century. So something which looks very new to us today actually has deep historical roots in the history of medical education in Philadelphia. Drexel founded a law school in 2006. It was the first law school to be founded at a major research institute in 25 years. Like the other programs at Drexel, it takes advantage of the co-op model.
So Klein School of Law students are not only in the classroom, but they're also learning on the job.
So even though the purview of the university is broadening, it's pretty clear that cooperative education is still the DNA of Drexel University.
Another fundamental aspect of Drexel University is its role as a pioneer in research. In 2011, the Academy of Natural Sciences, which is the oldest natural sciences institution in the United States, became part of Drexel University. This historic union provides unprecedented access to one of the world's most extraordinary science collections.
And so now the question becomes, how can Drexel transition to meet the needs of society today? And I think as we look at the demands of the economy in the region, in medicine, in pharmaceuticals, in services, we can find that Drexel is once again working to meet those needs. It's always been a place focused on Philadelphia, but now more and more that focus is on the rest of the world. Today, the Drexel campus extends well beyond the walls of the university. Drexel students can take advantage of the Office of International Programs, including study abroad opportunities, as well as the Co-op Abroad program. In recent decades, Drexel has expanded its reach to include partnerships with many institutions around the world.
Drexel faculty and students are partnering with peers at institutions from Sao Paulo to Shanghai, Tel Aviv to London. No discussion of Drexel history would be complete without a look at the history of Drexel sports. We know that Drexel teams by 1896 and 1897 were already competing, both men and women. Student life is clearly a central part of the Drexel University experience. The university has over 400 clubs and associations for students. Greek life has been an important aspect of the Drexel experience going back to the very early days of the Institute's history. It was the Greek system that provided housing for students in those early days when Drexel was primarily a commuter school. Since 2000, I think we can see that the university is in the midst of yet another reinvention, and this time it's around civic engagement. The neighborhoods that are to the north of Drexel have experienced economic distress over the last few decades. Since 2010, there's been a new commitment to civic engagement. And that can be seen in things like the creation of the Lindy Center, the Dornsife Center, and the Innovation Neighborhood, which are all sort of recent developments to go into the neighborhood and work with community residents and businesses in the neighborhood to try to make their experiences, their lives better, their institutions stronger by way of making Drexel stronger. One of the most interesting places we can look to find the extension of A.J. Drexel's vision is in the Innovation Neighborhood and Schuylkill Yards development, which is taking place right around the 30th Street station. And so here we have a mixed-use neighborhood that's going to be an extension of the campus, but also space for research labs and even incubators for new businesses to take shape, along with all the amenities of urban life. So people are going to live there, people are going to shop there, there's going to be a park there. So it's not only expanding the physical footprint of the university, but also expanding the capacity of the university to be a leader in cutting-edge research and then in taking that research into the marketplace. And I think that's really what the innovation in the Innovation Neighborhood is about. The neighborhood part is also a really important aspect of it. And so Schuylkill Yards is where the neighborhood will take shape. Looking back across its history, it's pretty clear. Drexel students and Drexel faculty have never been interested in the status quo. This has always been an institution that has inspired students to look ahead, to try to solve the challenges that society faces in technology, in medicine, in democracy, in business. Drexel students are leaders, and they will continue to be as we go further into the 21st century.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy 125th. Wasn't that a remarkable look at our enduring legacy of our founder and the proud trajectory of this university? It really opens your eyes. Perspective is so important. By that way, one of those joining us today might well say he's seen much of this all before. We are honored by the presence of Drexel's longest serving employee, Professor Edwin Gerber, who started this College of Engineering teaching career immediately after graduating in 1957, 59 years ago. Professor Gerber, please stand. Professor Gerber tells me that aside from the electronics, this room is much like it was 60 years ago. I told him I should restate that and say it's as authentic as it was ever before. So for the video, well done, everyone. And for our historian narrator, Professor Knowles, I think Kim Burns will be calling you very soon. And knowing the energy of our students, probably also Jeremy Birkenheimer. My role as provost makes me so fortunate. I have a unique vantage point on the future of Drexel. It's a bright future, of that I'm very certain. I hope some of you were fortunate enough to sit in President Fry's 125th anniversary series lecture last week on the topic of Drexel at 125 and at 150. If you were, you should have had a good sense of the kind of smart and innovative initiatives that we will hope to set the stage in exciting ways for the next quarter century. Initiatives like our research in smart fabrics and in nanomaterials, our work to create healthier communities just around the block from here and around the world, our mission to become the nation's leading academic authority in autism public health issues, and of course, our plans for Schuylkill Yards. All these efforts grow out of an academic vision that continues to emerge and evolve just as any great institution will. The hallmarks of that vision will let us reach to new milestones and will touch upon us all. We will be entrepreneurial, we will be multidisciplined, we will be civically engaged, and while we will be focused on core academics, we will distinguish ourselves in market-driven academic programs, distinctive research areas that lead the nation. All of our academic strategic initiatives will be developed in a collaborative spirit. For me, that includes an exciting new effort to consult regularly with our Dragon 24 group, an impressive panel of student leaders with whom we brainstorm and network on a wide range of issues impacting the academic environment. Beyond those student-centered conversations, I see an even broader Drexel community engaged in a collective effort to build our future. It includes faculty and professional staff and our community partners. As someone once said, we are stronger together. By tapping into our intellectual might, our creativity and innovative spirit, the Drexel community, there's just so much we can achieve. And now it's my turn and my pleasure to turn to the representatives of our undergraduate and graduate student government associations. We've shared the stage already this year. Brittany Tucciaroni and Valerie Tutwiler, who will give us greater insights into the Time Capsule project created for this 125th celebration. Thanks so much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Valerie Tutwiler, Vice President of Student Life for the Graduate Student Association. My co-presenter, Brittany Tucciaroni, is the Studi Body President for the Undergraduate Student Government Association. Both Brittany and I have loved looking over the collection of items that are going into the time capsule, and we invite you to look at them on display in the Grand Court after this event. We are going to mention a few items that triggered recollections about our years at Drexel and some other thoughts. Now, this time capsule is a box about this big, and it's kind of like ordering something from Amazon Pantry, only they offer next century delivery. At this point, we are going to read through the list of items as it stands, and some of the items will be seen on the big screen behind us. I'll start. The time capsule will contain the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Triangle, the Drexel Identity Brand Book, copies of greetings from Governor Wolf, proclamation by Mayor Kenny, citations by Councilwoman Blackwell and President Clark, the Board of Trustees Directory, the 125th Anniversary lapel pin, a Dr. Mario stuffed dragon, and a campus map. When I saw the campus map, I thought about how I started as a freshman at Drexel in 2008, and how, as an ambassador through my undergraduate career, I had given countless tours of the campus. Now, as a PhD student, I can reflect on how much Drexel's campus has changed over the last 8 years. When I started, there was no rec center, Papadakis Integrated Sciences Building, LeBeau Hall, or Chestnut Square, just to name a few. Let's hear about some items from your list, Brittany.
The time capsule will also include the President's Annual Report, the Drexel Magazine Anniversary Edition, Excel Magazine, a screenshot of Drexel's homepage, today's program and speeches, Academy of Natural Sciences plaster cast of a dinosaur claw, and the affiliation agreement between the Academy of Natural Sciences and Drexel University. The Drexel Quarterly, a legacy of art, science, and industry, highlights from the collection's catalog, and a copy of the Philanthropy Journal. That was one of the items, the Philanthropy Journal, that struck a chord with me. Because philanthropic work is something that, to me, as a sorority woman, is very important. Just this past year, my chapter raised over $35,000 for our philanthropy, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Additionally, I understand the value of philanthropic contributions as a recipient of the A.J. Drexel Scholarship. Without scholarship opportunities, many students would not be given the privilege to attend such a prestigious institution such as Drexel. Drexel's dedication to civic engagement and encouraging philanthropy is shown through the 2016 Philanthropy Journal. What else is on your list, Valerie?
The time capsule will include the 2016 Lexert, the Student Handbook, Ambition Can't Wait t-shirt, Ambition Can't Wait newspaper ads, a 2011 squash ball, an original 1974 piece of the Dakalakis Athletic Center basketball court, a Dadvale Regatta gold medal, the Chronicle of Higher Education, The Man Who Made Wall Street book, and a bottle of Dragon's Gold, the special brew that was created for this celebration. And what a better way to epitomize the interdisciplinary Drexel experience than by bringing together a graphic design co-op and an alumnus who founded his own brewery. I'm sure that we all can't wait to celebrate Drexel's anniversary by raising a Dragon's Gold beer. Cheers to Drexel. Brittany, you're up.
The time capsule will include a copy of Building Drexel, the University and its City, 1891 through 2016, strategic and campus master plans, the program book from the inauguration of John A. Fry, the 2016 academic course catalog, the 2016 enrollment management view book, a list of all faculty and staff, a digital archive of the 125th Years lecture series, a copy of the video that we just saw, 2016 commencement programs, photos, and the Drexel Phillies commencement baseball cap. You know, I looked at the cap and thought that it was a good way to emphasize how Drexel students have a unique opportunity not only to explore a new campus when they come to college, but also a new city. Philadelphia offers so many unique opportunities for students to explore the city of brotherly love. And it just so happens that some of my fondest memories as a Drexel student have been created while enjoying a relaxing night out at the ballpark with my peers. And I can look forward to capping my college career with this year's commencement being hosted again at Citizens Bank Park. And now, each of us will offer an item of our own choosing for the time capsule. Valerie, why don't you go first?
Well, I'm going to include a January 2016 issue of the scientific journal entitled Blood. And no, it is not the next Anne Rice vampire novel in serial form. Through being a star scholar, a co-op researcher, and now a doctoral student at Drexel, I have grown a passion for scientific research. To symbolize the monumental advances in research that students at Drexel University have made over the past 125 years, I have chosen to include this journal, Blood. In particular, because my own research is published in this issue with an... And actually, a picture that I took is featured on the cover. So how about you, Brittany?
Okay, so haven't published any research yet. Valerie, I thought that without the ongoing and unwavering support from my parents, I wouldn't be standing before you today as the student leader that I am. They've helped me grow to be who I am. For my personal item, I'd like to include a photograph of myself and my parents as a way to thank them for their love and support throughout my younger years and college career. They're here today, so thank you. I hope that this item represents all of the loved ones who've supported Drexel students through their journey in higher education.
And now it is time for the golden envelope. So here we have the winners of the online time capsule voting. First place is the inauguration of President Konstantin Papadakis program booklet. Second place is the Dragon Gel Sports Supplement, which was developed by Professor Nairi Dardarian from Nutrition Sciences in the College of Nursing and Health Professions. And third place is the Drexel University online Commencement in a Box mailer.
And
that is the Drexel University 125th anniversary time capsule.
And now, please welcome back the members of the Chamber Singers who will perform the Drexel Ode.
I want to thank Naturally Sharp for those two wonderful performances that they've given us today, and Valerie and Brittany for curating the time capsule. Let's give all of our students a hand. So that concludes our ceremony for today. We will all adjourn now to a convivial reception in the Great Court. I want to leave you one more time with the words of Anthony J. Drexel. Let us adopt this as our own credo. Whenever anything is wanted, call on me. And I think for us, it means give much, take little, and good things will happen. Thank you all.